Robert Altman's Three Women is one of those rare films that people either adore or simply don't connect with. And honestly, that makes perfect sense. It's an avant-garde character study, a psychological puzzle, and a dream you experience more than you fully understand. For viewers who love moody, surreal, art house cinema, this film is magnetic. For those who prefer straightforward storytelling, it may feel slow, ambiguous, or even frustrating. But for me, I absolutely love it. There's something about Three Women, its atmosphere, the dreamlike pacing, and especially the performances that have always stayed with me. It's visually intriguing, emotionally strange, and quietly unsettling in ways you can't quite put your finger on. So what is this movie about, you might ask? Well, at its core, the story follows three lonely, disconnected women in the California desert whose lives intersect in unexpected ways. They are lost souls, though they may not realize it, each trying to find a role, a purpose, or a sense of belonging in a world that doesn't seem to notice them. Altman famously said the film came to him in a dream, and it truly feels that way. Let's talk about the characters. First, there's Pinky, the childlike observer. Sissy Spacek plays Pinky, a naive young woman from a small backwoods Texas town who moves to California to work at a health spa for the elderly. Altman described her as like an alien who has just landed on Earth, trying to figure out how to be a person. And Spacek captures that perfectly. Wide-eyed, curious, and sponge-like. She watches, mimics, and absorbs everything around her, especially her co-worker, Millie. At first, I empathize deeply with Pinky. She's cute, sweet, eager, and clearly trying to find her place in the world. But there's also something subtly unsettling about her. She snoops, imitates, reads Millie's diary, and even tries on her clothes when Millie isn't at home. It doesn't feel malicious so much as exploratory. She's experimenting with pieces of other people's lives as she searches for her own identity. Her fragility becomes painfully clear after her suicide attempt, revealing how lost and uncertain she is in the world around her. Then there's Millie, the chipper, delusional social butterfly. Shelley Duvall's Millie is the heart of the film for me. She's cheerful, chatty, perfectly coordinated in shades of yellow, and full of homemaking advice, recipes, and dreams of the ideal man. She believes she's stylish, desirable, and well-liked, but in reality, her co-workers ignore her, and the men she chases avoid her like the plague. Her neighbors mock her. Her confidence is a fragile shell masking deep loneliness and insecurity. Yet despite Millie's flaws, her pushiness, her slight narcissism, there is something incredibly sympathetic about her. Duvall's performance is astonishing. She makes Millie both funny and heartbreaking. She really shines here. And honestly, I wouldn't mind having a friend like Millie. Her love of cooking, pretty clothes, and decorating really resonated with me. Now let's talk about the food in the film. The food in the film is pure Americana, and it's one of my favorite details in this movie. Millie's cooking looks like it came straight out of a 1970s church cookbook, and I mean that as the highest compliment. There are dishes in this movie that are pure Americana. Tuna fish sandwiches, pudding from a jar or can served in purchased pastry shells, jars of shrimp cocktail, cheap wine, and even bananas coated in chocolate and Rice Krispies. Her idea of a gourmet treat. Millie takes enormous pride in preparing these meals, arranging them carefully, convinced she's the perfect hostess, yet almost no one ever shows up to enjoy them. The food becomes yet another symbol of her loneliness and her desire to protect an idealized version of herself. Altman uses these tacky, lovable dishes brilliantly. They tell us everything we need to know about Millie without a word of dialogue. And last but not least is Willie, the silent, tragic artist. The third woman, Willie, played by Janice Rule, says almost nothing for the first half of the movie. Heavily pregnant, married to the philandering alcoholic Edgar, she spends her days painting unsettling, reptilian, humanoid murals. She radiates mystery and sadness. You feel for her immediately. She's beautiful, isolated, and clearly trapped in an unhappy marriage. When Pinky's suicide attempt draws Willie into the story more directly, the dynamic between these three women begins to shift in strange, dreamlike ways. So, why does this film divide people so much? Well, some viewers love Three Women because it's visually hypnotic and atmospheric. The characters are fascinating, layered, and psychologically complex. Shelley Duvall and Sissy Spacek give two of their greatest performances. Altman's surreal, dream-logic storytelling leaves room for interpretation. It's an art house film that rewards multiple viewings. And why do other people struggle with it? Well, that's because the plot is minimal and moves slowly. The film is intentionally ambiguous. Nothing is spelled out. It relies more on mood and symbolism than traditional narrative. The dream logic can feel confusing or frustrating. It's very much a film where you either surrender to its atmosphere or you don't. So what is it about this movie that makes it so memorable? Well, for me, it's a combination of the gorgeous visuals, the cryptic symbolism, especially Willie's murals, and the way the three women's identities begin to bleed together. The film feels like a desert mirage, hazy, shifting, and a little bit eerie. And honestly, I never get tired of it. It's one of those movies that feels new each time you watch it. Without the strong acting from all three women, this story wouldn't work. But with it, the film becomes hypnotic. Here are my final thoughts about this movie. Three Women is a brilliant, haunting film, but not a mainstream one. If you love art house cinema, surreal character studies, or anything dreamlike and psychologically layered, you absolutely should give it a try. And if you do, I recommend watching it with a bottle of lemon satin or tickled pink and some sociables with Cheese Whiz, just for fun.